It was the war beamed into living rooms, fought in jungles and rice paddies half a world away. For over a decade, it divided a generation and reshaped a nation. This is the Vietnam War. I'm Anna Park. Raymond, where does this story begin?
It began in the ashes of empire. In 1954, after France's defeat at Dien Bien Phu, Vietnam was split in two at the 17th parallel, a communist north, a US-backed south, a temporary line. It would soon become a battlefield.
For the Vietnamese, this was no foreign war. It was their homeland. In the south, a fragile government struggled as insurgency spread through the villages. Washington, fearing a domino effect, sent advisors, then money, then men.
Then, August 1964, the Gulf of Tonkin. A murky clash at sea handed Washington a blank check. Congress passed a resolution that opened the floodgates. By 1965, American combat troops were wading ashore in force.
From the skies came rolling thunder, a bombing campaign of staggering scale, year after year. More tonnage fell on Vietnam than in all of World War II. Yet beneath the jungle canopy, the war refused to break.
On the ground, it was a new kind of war. No front lines, only search and destroy. Soldiers pushed through triple canopy jungle and elephant grass, hunting an enemy who chose when to fight, and then vanished into the green.
The helicopter defined it. Hueys swept low over the paddies, carrying men into landing zones and lifting the wounded out. Air mobility could strike anywhere in minutes, but it could not hold the ground once it left.
For the soldier, it was heat, monsoon mud, and dread. Booby traps and hidden tunnels turned every step into a gamble. The average man was barely 20, far from home, fighting an enemy he often never saw.
That enemy moved like water. Along the Ho Chi Minh Trail, a vast hidden web through jungle and mountains, supplies and fighters flowed south no matter how many bombs fell. Patience itself became a weapon.
This was the first war Americans watched at the dinner table, raw and unfiltered, night after night. And in January 1968, the whole country would be shaken to its core. Raymond, tell us about Tet.
On the eve of the Lunar New Year, the North launched the Tet Offensive, a massive, coordinated assault on cities across the South. Militarily, it was beaten back, but the shock shattered the promise that the end was near.
Tet was a turning point, not on the battlefield, but in the mind. The gap between official optimism and the scenes on television, the credibility gap, cracked wide open. Trust drained away, and a nation began to doubt.
At home, the doubt became a roar. Campuses erupted. Hundreds of thousands marched on Washington. A generation asked why they were dying, and a country once united turned bitterly against itself.
A new strategy emerged: Vietnamization, hand the fighting back to the South and bring Americans home. Yet the war only widened, spilling into Cambodia and Laos as the bombing reached a thunderous new peak.
The cost was almost beyond counting. Millions of Vietnamese, soldiers and civilians, and tens of thousands of Americans. Villages erased, forests poisoned, a land and its people.
In January 1973, the Paris Peace Accords brought a ceasefire. The last American troops came home, and the prisoners with them. But the guns in Vietnam did not fall silent. They only changed hands.
2 years later, the end came swiftly. In April 1975, Northern tanks rolled toward Saigon. In the final hours, helicopters lifted the desperate from rooftops as a city and an era fell. The long war was over.
58,000 American names are carved into a wall of black granite, and millions of Vietnamese are remembered far from it. This war left deep wounds and hard lessons. We remember them all. Thank you, Raymond and Lynn.